Part 22. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Ching Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 211. The stalls here are all divided into 4 categories: full gambling, half gambling, open window, and open material. The so-called full bet means that there is no jadeite exposed on the outside, and the jadeite raw material is wrapped in a layer of weathered leather on the outside. The inside is completely invisible to the naked eye, so you must rely on feeling and rich experience to choose it. This kind of all-round bet on rough stones carries a relatively high risk, and is the highest risk compared to other gambling methods. But I heard that some experienced people can know what kind of jade is inside based on various appearances on the surface. The so-called half bet usually cuts it in half, and you can basically see half of the jadeite. Although there is a lot of jadeite exposed, it is still a bit of a gamble as to whether the uncut parts are stones or all jadeites, which cannot be seen with the naked eye. The price of this kind of half bet is relatively high, but for novices, it is not as risky as the full bet. The so-called window opening is to cut off a bit of the outer skin of the stone to expose a small opening so that the jadeite inside can be seen. This practice is called window opening. Those who want to buy can use the window to see what kind of jade is inside and decide whether to buy it. This kind of rough stone is also more expensive than one without a window. After all, the risk is smaller. The final clear material is no longer a gambling stone. The seller completely separates the jadeite from the jadeite material. The value of the jadeite can be roughly seen with the naked eye. However, there are risks when buying open materials, such as cracks, cotton, etc. inside. If you buy this kind of material, you can get rich overnight, or you can lose everything overnight. Xiaoningsun didn't look at it carefully like the others with a flashlight and a magnifying glass. She just gave people the feeling that she was a novice, and then calmly pointed out 3 rough stones to Du Kunpeng, all of which were made from gambling materials. She has the ability to see through. She can tell at a glance which rough stones contain emeralds. Du Kunpeng paid the money readily, and when he got it to the stone-breaking place, he prepared to break the stone. Some curious people saw that the stone was about to be dismantled, and they gathered around. The shop owner also asked his employees to watch over him and went over to look at the calcite stone himself. In case you find a good jadeite, you can advertise it for your own stall. Du Kunpeng was also very nervous. He spent 500,000 yuan on that stone. Master Zheng, who was interpreting the stone, asked, "Do you want to draw a line?" Du Kunpeng quickly looked at Xiaoningsun. Master Zheng smiled and said, "Do you still want to look at your daughter's opinion?" Du Kunpeng saw that Xiaoningsun did not deny it and just smiled. If he gets married early, Xiaoningsun can indeed be his daughter. Xiaoningsun stepped forward and drew 3 lines on the rough stone. "Master, please cut it according to what I drew." Master Zheng felt helpless when he saw her drawing so many paintings. This child was either an expert or a novice. If you draw the line like this, if there is jade in it, you won't be able to make a large ornament, and you will suffer heavy losses. Good. Master Zheng started the machine and cut the longest thread first. Soon, after a loud noise, the rough stone was cut into 2 halves. Master Zheng separated the stones and wiped the surface. The planting water looks pretty good so far, and there's a lot of green. Du Kunpeng quickly looked at Xiaoningsun. She really has real abilities, so much green color is probably too much. Xiaoningsun smiled at the corners of his eyes. He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Hui were extremely shocked. How could their cousin still have this ability? Sure enough, my cousin will not come over for no reason. Master Zheng asked, "How much did you buy this rough stone for?" Du Kunpeng, "I bought it for 500,000 yuan. The person next to him shouted excitedly. "At least he's an ice type. There's a lot of green, it looks like glass. Just looking at the exposed side, it's very likely that it has risen." It would only be possible if the place where they drew the line is really all jade. If there is only this layer of jade, it will collapse. I hope there are no cracks inside. Before Master Zheng spoke, Qi Jinghui, who was coming to purchase next to him, looked at Du Kunpeng and said, "Sir, how about I take 800,000 yuan? This way you will definitely make a profit without losing money, but if you continue to drive, if there are cracks, but it's going to be a gamble." Du Kunpeng completely believed in Qiaoningsun and said apologetically, "I still want to see it again." Qi Jinghui wasn't angry either. He was rejected at least dozens of times every day. If he had been angry, he would have been to death. Master Zheng said, "Then shall I continue cutting?" Du Kunpeng nodded, "Continue." Master Zheng put the jade material under the machine again and continued to start the machine. Soon, the other side was revealed. Like a glass species. It has gone up, it must have gone up. Fortunately, he didn't sell it just now. The exposed part is more than 800,000 yuan. That's right. Master Zheng looked at the stone and glanced at Qiaoningsun with admiration. "You are so accurate in drawing the lines. There is no waste. The shell is the shell, and the jade is the jade. The first cut just now was a coincidence, but the second cut was still a coincidence. No one would believe it." Qiaoningsun smiled lightly and said, "I draw based on my feelings." Master Zheng, haha. "I believe you are a ghost." Du Kunpeng was very excited and asked Master Zheng to continue cutting. After a while, the third side was also revealed. Master Zheng saw that the third side was also shell and meat. He looked at Qiaoningsun and said, "Your feeling is really accurate." Qiaoningsun said seriously, "I'm here for the first time today. I guess it's the novice protection period given by God." Others were silent for a while, then suddenly exploded. "It's really gone up. This piece of material is worth at least 2 million. It is indeed a glass species, with a lot of green and plenty of water. Envy, really envious." Du Kunpeng smiled and looked at Qiaoningsun. "Ningsun, you are really amazing." Qiaoningsun just smiled. Master Zheng polished the rest of the uncut areas. After a while, he handed the jade to Du Kunpeng and said with envy on his face, "Congratulations." "Thank you." Qi Jinghui said again, "Sir, your piece of material is very big, but there may be cracks in it, and it's not a stable price. Why don't I buy it for 2 million, you buy it for 500,000, and sell it for 2 million, it's a sure profit and not a loss." Du Kunpeng said, "Thank you very much. I have my own sales channel. I am an old friend. I don't want to offend you. Please forgive me." Junhua owns a jewelry company. He belongs to Junhua, so of course he wants to sell it to Junhua. Qi Jinghui had no choice but to give up after hearing this. But he didn't leave. If someone else comes to dismantle the stone later, he will still bid. Master Zheng saw that Du Kunpeng still had 2 pieces of jadeite material and asked, "Do you want to untie these 2 pieces?" Du Kunpeng said, "I don't understand it for the moment. My friend also has a stone breaking machine. I will go to him to solve it when the time comes. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible." Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 212. If it were all made of glass, it would be too eye-catching. Master Zheng didn't force him after hearing this. The shopkeeper from whom Du Kunpeng just bought the rough stone shouted loudly, "You bought that piece of glass from me. Come and take a look." Some of the onlookers were really attracted after hearing this. Du Kunpeng whispered, "Ningsun, please help me choose a few more rough stones. I won't let you choose for nothing. Let's do this. How much will my jadeite sell for in the future? After I add my cost, I will get the jadeite price. I will give you half of the money from the sale." Qiaoningsun's eyes lit up. "How embarrassing this is." Du Kunpeng solemnly said, if you hadn't saved me, I would be dead now, half of it is not too much. Xiaoningsun thought about it and felt that this was the reason. Okay, I'll choose what you need first, and then choose the one from us. Du Kunpeng nodded, okay, then I'll trouble you. Just as they were about to leave, another man came over to unravel the stone. Xiaoningsun saw that her cousin and cousin were very curious, so she told Du Kunpeng and stayed temporarily to continue to educate them. My cousin and cousin were lucky. They saw the calcite stone rise for the first time in their lives. In order to prevent them from thinking that buying rough stones and cutting them will increase the price, it is better to let them take a closer look. Master Zeng asked him how to solve it. The man said, this rough stone is cheap, only 50,000 yuan, and its appearance is not very good. Just cut it in the middle. If you lose, you will lose. Good. Master Zeng quickly placed the rough stone in the middle of the machine, started the machine, and began to break the stone. He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Hui were filled with emotion. The people who come here are all rich people, and they don't feel bad if they lose 50,000 yuan. 50,000 yuan can allow the two brothers to successfully graduate from high school. But if the price increases, 50,000 can become hundreds of thousands. After a while, the rough stone was cut into two halves. Master Zeng turned off the machine and quickly opened the rough stone. It collapsed. There was only jade as big as a pigeon egg inside. It looks like the worst kind, just a little bit green. And it was cut in half, so it can be said to be worthless. Fortunately it's not very expensive. The man sighed, that's all, I bought it 10 times, and it failed every time. I don't have the chance to get rich overnight. I'd better just watch the excitement. Xiaoningsun asked, cousin, I also plan to choose some rough stones. Do you want to choose some too? To be honest, it was impossible for He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Hui not to be moved when they saw that they could get rich by gambling on stones. But they don't have much money. Xiaoningsun knew what they were thinking by looking at their expressions, and reminded them in a low voice, don't forget, you each still have a check for 1 million with me. I will help you pay later. He Yuan Yang hesitated and said, cousin, can you help us choose? He Yuan Hui also wants to try his luck. If they get a raise, it can change their lives. I would like to choose one myself. Xiaoningsun smiled and said, of course you can. You can also choose first and I will give you a reference. The two nodded, okay. Xiaoningsun turned around and said, Uncle Du, let's go, I'll give you a choice first. Okay, so Xiaoningsun visited several stalls and selected a few more rough stones for Du Kunpeng. After all his budget was used up, he started to choose his own. While Du Kunpeng was transporting the rough stones to the car, Xiaoningsun took her cousin to other stalls to choose first. Soon, Xiaoningsun came to the 10th stall, recited the clairvoyance formula, and walked in with satisfaction. She had some knowledge of jadeite in her previous life. Anyway, most of them were greener, the better. Of course, purple jade, that is, violet jade and red jade are also very popular. In recent years, the value of blue water jadeite has also been good. As soon as he entered, He Yuan Yang fell in love with the rough stone. The shop owner saw that he was a young man, and said with a smile, young man, you have a discerning eye. This rough stone has just arrived. The rough stone that came out of the same pit as it before, and the jadeite extracted from it are all very good. He Yuan Yang asked, how much does this cost? The shop owner hesitated for a while, I originally sold it for 500,000 yuan, but seeing that you are young and unfamiliar, I will sell it to you for 400,000 yuan. 400,000, He Yuan Yang was frightened and looked at his cousin in horror. If he breaks down and his grandparents find out, he will probably be beaten into a mixed doubles. Xiaoningsun nodded with him, this one looks pretty good. If you like it, buy it. Maybe it can really go up. Uncle Do's prices just went up. My cousin has really good taste. Even if he didn't like this piece today, she would buy it. He Yuanyang immediately felt confident after hearing this, but 400,000 yuan was too expensive. Can it be less? The shop owner shook his head. I don't negotiate prices here. Chiao Ningxun said, okay, let's choose a few more pieces, and we'll settle the bill together later. Store owner, feel free to choose. The rough stones in my stall are famous for their high quality, and new ones have just arrived today. Chiao Ningxun asked them to choose again, and she also chose 2 pieces. The shop owner told no lies. The quality of the rough stones he had here was indeed good. They selected 3 pieces in total. He Yuanyang spent 400,000 yuan on 1 piece. He Yuanhui spent 300,000 yuan. Chiao Ningxun chose a piece and spent 800,000. The quality of the rough stones in this store is good, but the price is indeed higher than the previous ones. The shop owner was very confused when he saw Chiao Ningxun paying 3 people's money alone. Who is this young lady who came out to experience life? Chiao Ningxun still asked Master Zheng to get the stone to be solved. Although she has the magical ability to retrieve objects from a distance, she still wants to experience the on-site interpretation of stones, and maybe learn more about jade. She will choose some rough stones later. After she goes back, she can use the fairy method to take them out, which will save time and not waste any jade. After she went to select rough stones just now, Master Zheng unwrapped 4 more rough stones, both medium and small, but they all collapsed. Some people feel unlucky and are worried that they will always collapse, so they go to other people to solve the problem. Master Zheng doesn't think so. Betting on stones is just like gambling. 9 times out of 10 you will lose, and it is normal for you to lose one after another. If a different group of people comes tomorrow, he will still have business. Just as he was thinking about it, he saw Chiao Ningxun coming over with the rough stone. Du Kunpeng has also placed the original stones and returned to Chiao Ningxun. He brought several cars over in total, and bodyguards also came and were guarding the cars. He was completely at ease. After all, he was the one who brought the child out, and he must be responsible for bringing it back safely. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 213. Master Zheng asked, do you want to continue to cut stones? Chiao Ningxun nodded, excuse me, Master, I have solved all the problems for my brothers and me. Master Zheng said, okay, should you draw lines and cut the stone, or should you slowly rub the stone? The people around saw that there were still people coming to Master Zheng to solve the stone today, but they did not dissuade him and came to watch the fun again. Most people still like to base their happiness on the pain of others. The first thing to solve is He Yuanyang's rough stone. Although his mysterious cousin was protecting him, he was still extremely nervous. After all, he chose the rough stone himself, and his cousin just said he could buy it. Chiao Ningxun stepped forward and drew a few lines, turned around and saw her cousin's expression, and whispered, don't be nervous, it will definitely rise. Even if it collapses, my grandparents and my mother don't know the money. I won't tell them, and neither will Uncle Do. He Yuanyang nodded, feeling a little more relaxed. Soon, the machine had cut the first line. Master Zheng opened the original stone and revealed the jadeite inside. Purple jade, it's actually purple jade, the color is so beautiful. We haven't seen Sci-fi here for a long time. Yes, more and more people like purple jade now. The value of purple jade has skyrocketed in recent years. If it were all jade, it might go up, but if it's just a thin layer, it would definitely collapse. It is extremely difficult to produce purple jade. This piece is so big that it looks like a glass seed. It has become swollen. Up. He Yuanyang was immediately pleasantly surprised. He made money again? A man who had just come over looked at the other side and was shocked. This side has not been cut at all. Who drew the line? It's a stroke of genius. The people who just saw Xiaoningsun drawing the lines looked at her at the same time. She seemed to have painted a rough stone just now, and no jadeite was wasted. I remember her too. She must have clairvoyant eyes, right? How is that possible? She must be really capable. I heard that people from a family that gambles on stones can tell the shape of the jadeite inside just by looking at the lines on the surface. Xiaoningsun said indifferently, I'm just lucky. The others saw her cold look and said nothing more. Who knows if I will ever ask her for help in the future? It is better not to sin at this time. A man in a white shirt suddenly asked, Little girl, are you the owner of this rough stone? No, Xiaoningsun shook his head, it belongs to my cousin. The man followed her line of sight to find He Yuanyang. Can you sell this rough stone of yours? You should have bought it for less than 500,000 yuan. I will pay you 1 million yuan, so you will definitely make a profit. If you open it again, if there are cracks or other defects inside, you will lose money. He Yuanyang, I won't sell it, thank you for your kindness. The man had no choice but to give up. Xiaoningsun asked Master Zeng to start cutting again. After a long time, the remaining sides were also cut out. Of course, Xiaoningsun knew that if he kept drawing the line too accurately, he would be targeted, so the last line was a little off and cut some flesh. Some of them are cut less and the outer shell needs to be rubbed off slowly. Master Zeng and others felt a little more relaxed when they saw that Xiaoningsun finally made a mistake. It really depends on luck. Master Zeng glanced at Xiaoningsun meaningfully, said nothing, and started working again. Just after seeing the complete piece of material, some people were shocked. It's gone up, it's such a big piece. It's really a glass species, it's going crazy. Sci-fi is also called violet, it's really beautiful, women will definitely like it after seeing it. The shape is also very large and can be used to carve large ornaments. The leftover materials can also be used to make bracelets, earrings, necklaces, rings, etc. The color is crystal clear, with no impurities at all. Purple jade of this quality is really rare. Yes, I'm so envious. I've been buying jadeite for decades and have never bought a purple jadeite. Young man is so lucky, he looks like he's here for the first time, and he got the glass seed the first time. I really envy his luck, he became rich overnight. He Yuanyang was very happy, but he had always been steady, so his face remained expressionless. The man in the shirt just now spoke again, young man, I'll give you 3 million, will you sell it? Just carving a large ornament and selling it to superstitious guests may fetch a sky-high price of tens of millions. He Yuanyang still shook his head, I won't sell it. The man had no choice but to give up. He Yuanhui was even more excited than his elder brother. The rough stone that the eldest brother bought for 400,000 yuan can be sold for 3 million yuan. He Yuanyang took the jade in his hand and handed it to Xiaoningsun. Just now, Xiaoningsun quietly told them that Du Kunpeng asked them to sell all the jade they found to Junhua's jewelry company, and the price would only be higher than outside. Xiaoningsun put the jade away and asked Master Zeng to continue He Yuanhua's jade. They made preparations in advance this time and brought several large boxes to contain the ingredients. He Yuanhua's piece had to be cut right in the middle to see the meat, so Xiaoningsun didn't draw a line and said directly, cut it right in the middle. Master Zeng was stunned, you won't draw the line this time. Cut it in half and I'll draw it again. Okay. Master Zeng started the machine, placed the rough stone on it, and cut it right in the middle. He Yuanhui was extremely nervous. Although he knew he would not lose money, he really wanted to know how much his piece of money was worth. After a while, the rough stone was cut open. Master Zeng opened it and was surprised, it seems to be blue. What, blue? The onlookers took a few steps forward to see what the blue jade looked like. Many people have not seen the purple jade just now, let alone the blue jade. An old man stepped forward and took a special flashlight to take a look at it. He nodded and said, "It is indeed blue. It is so blue and the water is so old. It still looks like a glass seed, but it is very rare." A layman came up and asked, "Is this jade worth anything?" The old man said, "Look, when you turn on the flashlight, the jade inside is like blue sea water. The color distribution is extremely uniform. This kind of jade can be called blue water jade. According to my experience, although this piece is more purple than the one just now, the jadeite is much smaller, but the value is probably the same. Blue is not a common color of jadeite. If you meet a collector, it may be sold for a higher price than the big purple jadeite just now." He was extremely pleasantly surprised. Chiao Ningxun also had a smile on his face. He Yang breathed a sigh of relief for his younger brother. He didn't have to go back and be beaten by mixed doubles. Although his cousin said that he would not go back and tell his grandparents even if he lost money, he would not hide it from them and would take the initiative to confess. "Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible." Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 214. The old man looked at the other half of the rough stone next to him and said in surprise, "There is no meat on it?" "Little girl, you are from a stone gambling family, right? Do you know that the other half has no meat?" Chiao Ningxun smiled and said, "I'm just an ordinary person. If I were from a stone gambling family, you wouldn't have seen me now." The onlookers thought about it and felt that she was right. If there really was such a powerful person in the stone gambling family, he would have been announced long ago, and it would have been impossible to hide him for so long. Chiao Ningxun said and continued to draw lines. The old man didn't hesitate to ask more questions and made room for her. Chiao Ningxun drew the lines and said, "Cut these 2 lines and rub the stone on the last side." Master Zen nodded and quickly followed her instructions. 20 minutes later, the jadeite revealed its true appearance. The crowd was also excited. "It's really blue water jade, it's really beautiful. This young man's luck is as good as the one just now. Have glass seeds become a waste on the street? I have never opened a glass type in my life, at most it is an ice type. It's rising again. Lao Zhen, you actually cut 2 of them and they were rising. How did you cut mine just now and it collapsed?" Master Zheng snorted, "That's because you have bad taste, so the materials you gave me were not good. Look, the young man brought 3 of them over, and they were all swollen, and they were all made of glass." Chiao Ningxun took the jade from Master Zheng, looked at it carefully, and handed it to He Yuanhui. He Yuanhui took it nervously. This was comparable to his elder brother's purple jade. Things worth millions are in his hands. Another man in a shirt came over and said, "Young man, do you want to sell it? Although your piece is small, I can also offer 3 million. 3 million. Sure enough." He Yuanhui's heart was in turmoil, but his face was expressionless. "No need, I already have a sales channel. With 3 million yuan, he can buy a house of his own. The second aunt no longer has to worry about him not having a house and getting a wife." The man sighed after hearing this. He Yuanhui also handed the jade to Chiao Ningxun amid everyone's envious eyes. After Chiao Ningxun put it away, he handed over the stone he chose. "Master Zheng, please unblock my piece again, but just rub the stone all over and don't cut it." Master Zheng said, "This will waste some time and the wages will be higher." Chiao Ningxun, "It's okay, just wipe it off." "All right." Master Zheng had no choice but to start rubbing the stones. Just after wiping a small cut, he took a flashlight and looked at Chiao Ningxun in shock. "Old Zheng, why do you look so scary?" "Yeah? Don't waste time, wipe it quickly, we all want to see the result." "That is." Master Zheng looked at Chiao Ningxun and asked with a complicated face, do you know that this piece of jadeite is of glass type? He put it tactfully. If he directly spoke his thoughts, he would scare the onlookers to death. Chiao Ningxun said with an innocent face, I don't know, I just chose randomly. Everyone onlookers frowned and said, what? Another glass species? I have never even grown an ice species in my life. The best one is the glutinous species. You actually bloomed 4 glass species here in the morning. It's very possible. This little girl is very powerful. The 3 just now passed through her hands. For a time, many people's eyes fell on Chiao Ningxun. Some people are considering whether to pay her to help them choose. He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Hui were extremely proud inside, but they also looked serious on their faces. Their cousin, is indeed amazing. Chiao Ningxun said indifferently, Master Zheng, wipe it quickly. Where did this go? Master Zheng couldn't ask any more questions, so he had to continue polishing the stone. The onlookers looked at the parts of the original stone that had been rubbed out, and their faces became more and more shocked. In the middle of wiping, the old man couldn't bear it any longer and asked Chiao Ningxun, girl, can I come up and have a look first? Chiao Ningxun nodded, okay, grandpa. This old man has a very good face, and she can still agree to the kind grandfather's request. The old man quickly stepped forward, took the tool and began to inspect. 2 minutes later, the old man was shocked and said, the waterhead and color are indeed, imperial green. Du Kunpeng's eyes suddenly widened. Emperor green, the best among jadeite, is the most valuable. And if the rough stone in front of you could be wiped out with just a wipe, it would be worth hundreds of millions. The shopkeeper who just sold the rough stone to Chiao Ningxun looked a little ugly. He actually misjudged the imperial green and suffered heavy losses. Master Zheng nodded, I also think it might be imperial green. The onlookers suddenly exploded again. Show me, I have never seen an imperial green on a calcite site in my life. I want to see too. I also want to see. For a time, everyone was pushing forward. Some people even went to other places to tell each other. Suddenly, more and more people came here to watch. There hasn't been any imperial green here for a long time. Chiao Ningxun said, let's take a look at it after it is fully opened. Don't affect Master Zheng's work. The owners of the original stone have said this, so it's hard for them to go forward. Another man in a suit came to Chiao Ningxun and smiled flatteringly, little girl, do you want to sell this piece of jade? Chiao Ningxun said, sorry, I won't sell it. That person can only give up. Polishing the stone was very time-consuming. After a long time, Master Zheng finally took out all the rough stone and revealed its true appearance. Master Zheng immediately handed it over to Chiao Ningxun. It was only when he handed it over that he felt something was wrong. A little girl would not be able to carry such a heavy jade. But he thought too much. Chiao Ningxun took it easily and held it in his arms. Master Zheng said in surprise, girl, you are really strong. Chiao Ningxun smiled lightly and said, indeed, my family and friends also said so. The old man just now hurried forward and said, little girl, can I take a look at your jade again? Chiao Ningxun nodded, of course. The old man quickly took a flashlight to check. Others also squeezed in hard. He Yuan Yang, He Yuan Hui and Du Kunpeng hurriedly used their bodies to stop those people as much as possible. After a while, the old man sighed, it's good, it's indeed imperial green, and it doesn't look like there are any cracks inside, and it's not small in size. In my opinion, it should be worth more than 50 million. He just said it was a bit conservative. In fact, if it were sold, it was estimated that it could be sold for 100 million. 50 million. He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Hui looked at each other in shock. He Yuan Yang asked, Uncle Du, is imperial green so valuable? Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 215. Du Kunpeng recovered from the shock and nodded seriously. It is indeed very valuable. A small imperial green ring can be sold for tens of thousands of yuan, not to mention other large ornaments. He Yuanhui said excitedly, my cousin is so amazing. The stones they had were chosen by themselves, and they bought them only after their cousin nodded. After they bought it, my cousin chose her piece. 50 million, my cousin has become a truly rich man. This trip was not in vain. My cousin's taste is also very good. Xiao Ningxun smiled and said, I'm borrowing your good words. After saying that, she put the jade stone into another box. Master Zheng asked, little girl, do you still want to break the stone? Xiao Ningxun shook his head, and after giving the money, he planned to leave. One person excitedly stepped forward and asked, little girl, where did you buy this imperial green rough stone? Xiao Ningxun pointed in one direction, it's at the stall with the number 10 over there. Those who heard it immediately ran over there. Emperor Green, if they can also bloom it, they won't have to worry about it in this life. Du Kunpeng smiled and asked, Ningxun, do you still want to buy rough stones? I don't know if there is imperial green in the remaining ones. If there is, then he will make a lot of money. Xiao Ningxun nodded, I want to buy it, but I don't understand it. Let's take it back and find someone to explain it ourselves. Du Kunpeng said, okay, I will continue to accompany you. It is already lunchtime, but they bought some food on the way before coming, so they are not very hungry now. The group continued to browse the stalls. At this moment, Chu Yanyi came over. Xiao Ningxun asked, Chu Yanyi, how much did you buy? Chu Yanyi said, the ones I bought have been loaded into the truck and have been shipped away. The ones I just looked at are of good quality. Let me take you to see those ones. Xiao Ningxun said cheerfully, okay. Chu Yanyi will definitely not cheat her. After a while, the group arrived at the stalls Chu Yanyi mentioned. Xiao Ningxun took a rough look, his eyes almost blinded by laughter. This is a paradise for glass species. She was about to make a choice when she saw the people following behind her and felt helpless. The rough stone that passed through her hands opened 4 glass types in a row, including an imperial green that can make people crazy. It is normal for her to be stared at. Chu Yanyi also noticed someone following her, do you want me to help you? Xiao Ningxun smiled and said, no need, I have a way to teach them a lesson. Those people could tell at a glance that they were trying to take shortcuts, so she gave them a little lesson. Chu Yanyi also had a smile in his eyes. He knew what she was going to do, so he just followed her. Xiao Ningxun walked to a rough stone and stayed for a long time, nodding and praising the people around him from time to time. Just when she was about to ask the boss about the price, a middle-aged man came over and asked, how much does this rough stone cost? The shopkeeper didn't care which of them came first, he sold to the one who asked first, and said directly, 500,000. I bought it. The middle-aged man gave the money and quickly took it to dissolve the stone. Xiao Ningxun repeated her old tricks, and 6 people came over to her fancy one. She was very helpless and gave it to them in a good temper. After confirming that no one was following her, she quickly selected 6 rough stones and then went to other stalls to buy them. She waited until she had spent almost all the money in her bank card before returning to the car. Chu Yanyi invited Xiao Ningxun to ride in his car, and Xiao Ningxun agreed. It was already noon. The group went to have lunch first, and then went to the jewelry processing factory owned by Junhua to get stone analysis. Just after Chu Yanyi sent the person there, he suddenly received an important call. After Du Kunpeng repeatedly assured that he could be sent to school before the evening self-study, he left with peace of mind. Those who had snatched Xiao Ningxun's original stone were jumping anxiously as they looked at the jadeite that had been extracted. My 500,000, my money, I have suffered a heavy loss. It's not a terrible loss. You can make some bracelets out of these jadeite and sell them. I'll probably lose tens of thousands of yuan. The rough stone I bought for 200,000 yuan turned out to be just bean seeds. I also suffered a huge loss. Just be content, at least you have emerald. The rough stone I bought for 300,000 yuan turned out to be glass jadeite, but it was full of cracks and nothing could be done. It seems that the little girl is not so accurate about jade. Fortunately, I didn't buy it with her. There is more than one master of stone interpretation in Junhua jewelry processing factory, so the stone that Du Kunpeng bought was quickly solved. At this time, Zhou Shinian, the person in charge of the factory, put all the jadeite that Du Kunpeng had solved on the table and said with admiration, "Old Du, you are very lucky this time. You actually solved all the glass species, and there are actually purple emeralds, red emeralds, and imperial greens. Not bad. Did you find any strategist this time? In the past, when Du Kunpeng came here, for example, out of 6 rough stones, most of them only had 1 or 2 that could produce jadeite, and most of them were still of the waxy variety. Having come here 5 times, you may be able to solve the glass species only once." Du Kunpeng smiled and said, "Yes, I have found a good military advisor. See how much these are worth. As before, just pay the money directly into my account." Zhou Shennian nodded and asked experts from the company to come and take a look. Taking advantage of this period of time, Qiao Ningxun also took out the clues that she and her cousin had solved and put them on the table. Zhou Shennian was stunned and asked curiously, "Lao Du, I've been wanting to ask from just now, who are these children?" Du Kunpeng smiled and said, "They are my friends, Ningxun, Yuan Yang, and Yuan Hui. You can call him Uncle Zhou." The 3 of them shouted obediently, "Uncle Zhou." Qiao Ningxun said sternly, "Uncle Zhou, these 3 pieces of jade were mined by us before." Zhou Shennian looked at the jadeite and said in surprise, "Violet jadeite, blue water jadeite, and imperial green jadeite are all very precious jadeites. Do these belong to your 3 children?" Qiao Ningxun nodded, "Yes." As expected of the person in charge of Junhua's jewelry company, he is well informed. Seeing such a rare jadeite, the reaction was completely different from that of people in the rough stone market. Du Kunpeng whispered in Zhou Shenian's ear, "This family is kind to me. See how much these can be sold for and give them a fair price. They have already rejected several buyers before. Don't cheat them." Zhou Shenian nodded, "Okay." The experts came over soon, assessed each piece of jade, and then printed it out. Zhou Shennian came to Du Kunpeng and said seriously, "The price of each of your jadeite is, so the total is 75 million. Du Kunpeng said excitedly, "Okay, that's the price." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 216. Sure enough, his ex-wife was the one who defeated him. After the divorce, he was able to earn tens of millions at a time. Zhou Shennian looked at the Qiao Ningxun brothers and said, "The 3 pieces of jadeite you have are also very good, especially the imperial green piece. It is perfect and very large. Therefore, the imperial green can give you 100 million yuan. The price is tens of millions." He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Hui shook their bodies and looked at each other in shock. 110 million, these stones are too valuable. Their cousin will become a billionaire in the future. They are relatives of billionaires. Qiao Ningxun nodded with satisfaction, "Okay." Zhou Shennian looked at the other 2 pieces of purple jade and blue water jade, both of them are relatively rare colors, and the species, water and clarity are very good. In recent years, for jade of the same texture, blue water jade is higher than purple jade, so although blue water jade is much smaller than purple jade, we give them the same price, 8 million. 8 million? He has 8 million? He became a millionaire? Can he pay for his own tuition and living expenses in the future? Yuan Hua's heart couldn't bear it anymore, and he fell back as soon as his eyes darkened. The 110 million just now belonged to my cousin after all, not to him. But the 8 million now belonged to him. His deposit went from 100,000 to 1 million within 2 days, and now to 8 million. Before his cousin came back, he wouldn't have dared to think about it. Yuanyang saw his younger brother falling and hurriedly caught him from behind. Qiao Ningxun hurriedly stepped forward to hold him in place. Du Kunpeng asked worriedly, "What's going on? Be sure nothing happens, otherwise how will he meet the people of Lao Qiao's family and his boss?" Yuanyang knew exactly why his brother fainted. "It's really worthless, you fainted like this and made people laugh." Qiao Ningxun only pressed the button for more than 10 seconds before Yuanhui woke up. Seeing everyone surrounding him, he stood up quickly with some embarrassment and cried with joy, "Sorry, I scared you. My eldest brother and I were abandoned by our parents when we were young. We were adopted by my cousin's mother, my second aunt, and we have never seen each other in our lives. With so much money." Zhou Shennian and Du Kunpeng smiled knowingly. Zhou Shennian said, "If you all agree to this price, then I will have someone pay you." Qiao Ningxun said, "I agree, of course I agree, the price you gave is very fair." Yuanyang and Yuanhui also nodded. Zhou Shennian said, "Okay, please send me your bank card, and the money will arrive immediately." "Good." The three of them added Zhou Shennian to WeChat and gave him their card numbers. Since it was a bit late, they gave their number and went back to school. They noticed when they entered the door that this was indeed a jewelry processing factory. They were brought here by Du Kunpeng, and it was impossible for Junhua to trick them. Sure enough, all the money had arrived before I even arrived at school. After Du Kunpeng sent them to school, he took his mobile phone and wanted to transfer money to Qiao Ningxun. Qiao Ningxun quickly stopped him, "Uncle Du, you don't have to transfer it to me." Du Kunpeng said, "How can that be done? We agreed that each person would get half the money. I can't break our promise. There is endless money to be made. I play stone gambling just for fun, and I don't want to get rich suddenly." Qiao Ningxun said seriously, "Uncle Du, let's change the conditions." Du Kunpeng became interested and asked, "Oh? How to change it?" "Qiao Ningxun, I am very interested in jade, but as you know, I just joined the industry and don't know anything. If there are good rough stones in the future, I don't know. You have also seen my ability. How about this, when I want to buy jade in the future, you can take me there when you have time, and you can help me choose jade. How about you help me choose the jade? She and Du Kunpeng can help each other. She still has a lot of rough stones, so she will not be short of money in the future. Why not give Du Kunpeng some benefits, so that everyone can make progress? She and her cousins can make so much money today, all thanks to Du Kunpeng, and she knows how to repay kindness. That 8 million can change the life of my cousin. Her 110 million is also extremely important to the development of her career." Du Kunpeng hesitated, "Wouldn't you suffer a loss?" Qiao Ningxun smiled and said, "If we don't suffer any loss, we can be considered friends. Between friends, isn't it that you help me and I help you?" Haha. Du Kunpeng smiled heartily, "Okay, that's it." The group got out of the car. Du Kunpeng took out the other rough stones selected by Qiao Ningxun from the trunk and asked, "Do you want to take this to school?" Qiao Ningxun glanced at the time on her phone and said, "I bought a house near the school. I'm going to put the boxes there for the time being." Du Kunpeng opened his mouth. He wanted to say that he would help her pull her over, but thinking that there were two young men beside her, he ordered, "For your safety, don't reveal to others that you have rough stones at home. You have made so much money regarding money, it's better to keep a low profile for now, otherwise it will cause trouble. Children from wealthy families may be kidnapped when they go out, let alone children like them without bodyguards. He Yuanyang nodded, yes, I understand. Goodbye, Uncle Du. After Du Kunpeng left, the three of them quickly returned to their homes in Tianling community. After closing the door, the three of them looked at the transfer on their mobile phones and narrowed their eyes with smiles. He Yuanhui sighed, I actually have so much money. I don't have to worry about it in my life. He Yuan said, we can successfully finish high school and college. Chiao Ningxun smiled and said, not only that, you can go to any country in the world to increase your knowledge. Of course, you can also expand your knowledge and learn other knowledge to help you make money in the future. That's right. After a while, she added, in the future, you can also use this money to invest, buy a house, or do other things. But if you are playing with jade, I suggest you be careful. You can check the news, because there are many people who have nothing to do with jade. Of course, if you are with me when you buy jade, you don't have to worry about anything. If I am not here, you will never buy it? He Yuanyang nodded seriously, cousin, I understand what you are saying. Don't worry, I won't spend money recklessly. He Yuanhui also said, yes, cousin, this money is very hard to come by. We are all used to saving and will not waste it carelessly. Chiao Ningxun was relieved and transferred the remaining money from the check to them. This money is the remaining money you bought from the jade. These 3 checks belong to me. I will find time to exchange them. The two nodded. He Yuanyang looked at the rough stones in several suitcases and asked, cousin, what are you going to do with these rough stones? Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 217. Chiao Ningxun smiled and said, I'm not short of money for the time being, so I'll keep it for now. Anyway, I won't make a mistake and sell it to Junhua's processing factory if I have the chance. When she comes back from evening self-study in the evening, she can just use the teleportation formula to take out the jade. The two nodded. Since there was still some time, the three of them went to a nearby restaurant for dinner. He Yuanyang is rich now, so he invited the three of them to order a bunch of delicious seafood tonight, and they were all satisfied. Back to the classroom, it was time for evening self-study. Today's evening self-study is held by math teacher Lise Hillen. Compared to the day of class on Friday, Lise Hillen's face looked much more haggard. Logically speaking, Lise Hillen should be in much better spirits after just 2 days of rest. After the first class, He Yuanhui whispered to Guan Yiwen, do you feel that something is wrong with teacher Li? Guan Yiwen glanced at Lise Hillen quietly, indeed. Before Guan Yiwen could say the last word, Lise Hillen, who was preparing lessons, suddenly closed his eyes and fell to the ground. Some students in the class were stunned. He Yuanhui stood up quickly, strode to Lise Hillen's side, shook his body, Teacher Li, Teacher Li. Lise Hillen didn't make any movement. He Yuanhui looked at his cousin's seat, but Chiao Ningxun had gone out for running training after class just now and hadn't come back yet. He Yuanhui suddenly became anxious, hurry up and go to the office to call the head teacher. Immediately, some classmates called Zhou Anning over. Zhou Anning heard that something had happened to Lise Hillen, so she quickly ran to the classroom and called Lise Hillen several times. Seeing that he didn't respond, she also looked at Chiao Ningxun's seat. Seeing that she was not there, Zhou Anning had no choice but to call the emergency number. As soon as she finished the beating, she heard He Yuanhui say excitedly, Biao, Chiao Ningxun, come quickly and see teacher Li. He suddenly fainted and couldn't wake up. Zhou Anning also said, yes, go and have a look quickly. The students in the classroom looked at each other. Did they hear it correctly just now? Teacher Zhou actually asked Chiao Ningxun to treat teacher Li? Chiao Ningxun wiped away some sweat and said as he walked, everyone, please spread out quickly, Let the air circulate. Seeing that she had everything under control, the students all involuntarily gave way to her. Xiaoningsun stepped forward and observed Li Zhilin for a few seconds, then took out a bag of acupuncture needles from his body and gave him a few needles before starting to perform cardiac resuscitation on him. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Zhou Anning saw her serious face and asked nervously, "Xiaoningsun, how is he? Is he in danger?" When other teachers in the office heard the commotion, they all came over and looked at Li Zhilin, whose face turned pale, with worry. Xiaoningsun said while applying pressure, "For sudden cardiac death, the golden rescue time is only 2 or 3 minutes. If we don't rescue now, others will be cold when the ambulance arrives." Everyone's expressions became extremely frightened. Some people immediately looked at Li Zhilin with solemn faces. Although Li Zhilin is not easy to get along with, after all they have worked together for so many years, they still don't want anything to happen to him. Bai Yi gave Li Fangfang a look. Li Fangfang understood the idea and quickly stepped forward and said, "Teacher Zhou, Xiaoningsun doesn't have medical skills. If she is allowed to rescue Teacher rashly, will she kill Teacher Li? Is it better to ask her to stop?" He Yuanhui clenched his hands into fists and said angrily, "Didn't you hear her say that the golden rescue time is only 2 or 3 minutes? If you don't let her save, you go and save her? If you kill Teacher Li, will you pay with your life?" Guan Yiwen also said, "Li Fangfang, I know you don't like Xiaoningsun, but now is not the time for you to be hostile to Xiaoningsun. It's more important to save people now." Zhou Anning absolutely believes in Xiaoningsun. "Li Fangfang, they are right, what grudges you have with Xiaoningsun will be discussed later, now life is at stake, saving others is the most important thing." Li Fangfang was startled. Seeing that most people looked at her with reproachful eyes, she suddenly did not dare to speak. Bai Yi snorted, "If Teacher Li is not rescued, Xiaoningsun, just wait and get out of number 1 middle school." He Yuanhui noticed Bai Yi's expression and silently rolled his eyes. There is no person who has been treated by his cousin who has not been cured by his cousin. Time passed by second, and Li Zhilin still had no reaction. Everyone's faces became sadder, and more people gathered at the door of the classroom. Many students' eyes were red. Is Teacher Li going to leave like this? I don't know. Although Teacher Li is not a very gentle teacher, I still hope he lives a long life. Me too. Although he has scolded me, I don't hate him. I think he is pretty good, but I don't want him to die like this. Teacher Li, for the sake of your family, you must not leave like this." Just as everyone's faces became more and more solemn, Li Zhilin suddenly took a heavy breath. In an instant, everyone in the classroom applauded enthusiastically. However, although Li Zhilin's breathing recovered, he still did not wake up. Xiaoningsun took back the acupuncture needle. When she was doing acupuncture just now, she also injected some spiritual power into Li Zhilin's body. With these spiritual powers, he would be safe even if the ambulance was less than 2 hours away. "The emergency doctor is here." I don't know who shouted, and everyone hurriedly made way for the doctor. Doctors and nurses immediately came forward to check Li Zhilin's body. Not long after, the emergency doctor asked with a serious face, "Who gave him first aid just now?" Li Fangfang suddenly pointed at Xiaoningsun, "That's her. She ignored our objections and insisted on first aid. She even stabbed him with a few needles. I don't know if they would hurt him." The emergency doctor followed Li Fangfang's gaze and asked, "Have you studied medicine?" Xiaoningsun nodded, "I have studied ancient medicine." The emergency doctor immediately smiled and said, "Thanks to you, otherwise by the time we arrived, he would have been unable to save his life." Everyone present looked at Xiaoningsun in shock. She wasn't just talking nonsense. Zhou Anning was very pleased. Her decision to let Xiaoningsun save people was right. Xiaoningsun really had some real abilities. Li Fangfang's face turned darker. What? And thanks to Jiaoning Sun? Shouldn't the doctor criticize her for saving people indiscriminately? Is this doctor also confused by Jiaoning Sun's appearance? Jiaoning Sun said modestly, this is as it should be. He is my math teacher, and we don't want anything to happen to him. The emergency doctor praised her a few more words and asked people to carry Li Zhilin down. Zhou Anning patted Jiaoning Sun on the shoulder with a fearful expression, thank you very much for today. I will report it to the school and praise you throughout the school. Jiaoning Sun said, it's nothing, teacher Li is also blessed with great fortune. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 218. Zhou Anning nodded and asked the students to return to their seats and continue their evening self-study. After class, Zhou Anning returned to the office, and a group of teachers gathered around her. Xiaochens asked, Teacher Zhou, you just sent someone to find Jiaoning Sun immediately. Did you know that she has medical skills? Zhou Anning, yes, you all know that my hand was injured during the summer vacation. On the first day she came, she massaged my hand for a few minutes and my hand stopped hurting. She took the initiative to admit to me that she had medical skills. That's it, Xiaochen said seriously. Fortunately, if she hadn't been here, Li Zhilin would probably have to confess to the school today, and the students would be frightened, some of them would be timid, and they would definitely have psychological problems. Zhou Anning nodded, indeed, it's all thanks to her. Other teachers also asked Zhou Anning some questions, but they didn't know what Jiaoning Sun's medical skills were, so they didn't want to seek treatment from Jiaoning Sun for the time being. In classrooms, there were many people surrounding Jiaoning Sun. Yan Yuxiu was still wearing a mask, her eyes were shining and she said, Ning Sun, you are really amazing. Others also looked at her with admiration. Jiaoning Sun, who taught you your medical skills? I taught myself. Oh my God, you are so awesome. So. Throughout the night, as soon as get out of class was over, there would be a lot of people around Jiaoning Sun. When she was on her way home, she breathed a sigh of relief. Young girls are so energetic that her ears can't stand it. Back at home, after Jiaoning Sun finished washing, she couldn't wait to take out the jadeite stone from the space. The rough stones she selected are all of extremely high quality. Although she was the only one who knew how noble they were, she still didn't feel comfortable putting them in the villa. Instead, she moved them all to the space when her cousins weren't paying attention. Jiaoning Sun picked up a rough stone and chanted the formula for retrieving objects from the air. Sure enough, in just an instant, all the emeralds inside appeared where she wanted them to appear. As for the rough stone, it looks like there is nothing wrong with it on the outside, but it is already empty inside. Jiaoning Sun continued his old trick and transferred all the jadeite out of the original stone. Looking at all the glass jadeite and the imperial green jadeite in front of her, she was extremely satisfied. If all these are sold, her net worth will be higher and she will be able to get closer to Suo Xingxin more smoothly. But compared with the chaebol behind Suo Xingxin, it is probably not enough. That's it, take your time. She will go to the raw jadeite market when she gets the chance. When she becomes an adult, she will probably be able to save a fortune of several billion. A few minutes later, Jiaoning Sun disguised herself and opened the live broadcast software. Hello everyone, fellow water friends. Anchor, I've been waiting for you all day today, and you're only now on the air. It's enough that the anchor can be online, don't be too demanding on her. Yes, she is still a child, and it is normal for her to be playful during the day. Anchor, hurry up and start shouting, I can't wait. Jiaoning Sun, everyone, I have something to do during the day. I went to gain some experience. People who want to tell fortunes still follow the same old rules. Okay, I won't say more, let's get started. He mew, fortune teller, Chiaoning Suan, for the water friends nicknamed He, please pay first. He immediately rewarded a carnival. Chiaoning Suan connected to He, and a man in his 30s appeared in the camera. He, hello, host. Chiaoning Suan, hello, what do you want to do? He, anchor, I want to calculate my fate. I'm getting married next week, but a friend of mine told me a few days ago that my girlfriend cheated on me. I have been dating my girlfriend for 5 years. She is also very kind to me and takes good care of me. I really can't believe that she would betray me. I just want to ask, has she really cheated? Chiaoning Sun counted, to be precise, she met her ex and wanted to get back together with her ex. What? He suddenly stood up and said in disbelief, her ex. She clearly told me that I was her first boyfriend, and we are getting married next week. Chiaoning Sun, of course she lied to you. She gave birth to a child when she was 18 years old. However, she and her child's father were not of marriageable age at that time, so they did not obtain the certificate. Then they had a conflict and they separated, and then she met you again. Recently, the child's father met her again. She saw that the child's father had made a lot of money. For the sake of money, she now wants to get back together with the child's father. But she also really liked you, and she has been hesitating about how to tell you these days. He was struck by lightning. You said she had given birth to a child. How is that possible? Chiaoning Sun, did you see a little girl every time you went to her house? Her family told you that that was her sister. Hemu's face turned pale and he said, yes. Chiaoning Sun, that's right, that's her biological daughter. There are scumbag men and scumbag women in this world. This man is really miserable. He is about to get married, but the woman has a child. Didn't this man live with the woman before marriage? Didn't you know that the woman had given birth to a child? Not all men and women must live together before marriage. Some children are well educated by their families and will not live together until the wedding day. There are too few such people. I don't have any around me. He said, I don't believe it. I want to ask her personally and let her answer me personally. After saying that, he picked up his cell phone, opened the door and knocked on the door next door. Are they living together in different rooms? My eyes were opened today. Can young lovers still be like this? What's strange about this? Many people do this now. Yes, couples cannot be together all the time. They still need to have their own space, otherwise problems will arise over time. I agree with you. Upstairs, every time I talk to my boyfriend, I stop talking until 10 o'clock. I don't want my life to be occupied by him the rest of the time. I can do my own thing. He is also very happy he can play games or do other things. Soon, the door was opened. He said urgently, Wen, tell me honestly, do you have a daughter, and do you want to get back together with her father? Dong Wen was stunned. What are you talking about? Why can't I understand you? How could he know? The anchor overturned. No, if you see the dodge in her eyes, you can tell that she is deliberately pretending not to understand. That is, the anchor has never turned over. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Chen. Chapter 219. You guys, you must be the anchor's true fans. You hate the anchor but you still follow the anchor all the time. He shouted in a broken voice, don't hide it. The little girl I see every time I go to your house is not your sister, but your biological daughter. She was born when you were 18 years old. Right, wrong. Dong Wen continued to deny, no, don't listen to other people's nonsense. Those people just can't see that I live a better life than them. You are talking nonsense, Hihimu sneered and said, okay, unless you and your sister go for a paternity test tomorrow. If the results prove that I have wronged you, I will apologize to you. Dong Wenwen was silent. Hihimu said angrily, you still haven't told the truth. Dong Wenwen knew that she could no longer hide it, so she let out a long sigh. Things are already like this, so I won't hide it anymore. I did give birth to a child. Hihimu, the father of your child has recently found you and asked you to get back together with him. Are you eager to agree? Dong Wenwen, yes, the father of the child is very motivated now and has good economic conditions. He told me that it is better for the child to grow up in front of his parents, and I was a little moved. But my feelings for you are not fake, otherwise I won't take care of you that much. Hihimu also calmed down, I will cancel the wedding next week. Let's break up. Dong Wenwen hesitated for a long time and nodded, okay. Hihimu, you also return the bride price and 3 golds to me. You can do with the gifts I gave you before. You can do whatever you want with them. I don't want the money I spent on you. This is my house. You can do it tomorrow. Move away. Dong Wenwen, okay, I'll transfer the money to you later. No need for tomorrow, I'll leave later. I don't have the shame to continue staying, so I'll stay in a hotel. Both of them are very emotionally stable. Yeah, there is a lot of pressure in society now, and few young people can be so calm. It should be that the man is pretty good, but the woman has no right to make a fuss. It's very late now, and she will be embarrassed if she makes a big fuss. Makes sense. Hihimu returned to the house, closed the door, and faced the camera. Anchor, thank you very much. I want to ask one last question. When will my next relationship begin? The family was really in a hurry to get married, so I suddenly broke off the engagement. They definitely can't accept it, and I want to give them an explanation. Xiaoning Suan, your next relationship will come very quickly, just wait for 2 minutes. Hihimu was stunned, wait for 2 minutes. Xiaoning Suan, that's right. What does anchor mean? Could it be that his next girlfriend will appear later? Upstairs, listening to what the anchor said, it seems that's what happened. No way. It's very late now. Can't you just wait 2 minutes? It's only 2 minutes anyway. The people in the live broadcast room were waiting patiently. 2 minutes later, there was a knock on the door of Hihi United Family. Hihimu went to open the door in a daze, and saw a woman standing at the door, helpless. Look, as the anchor said, his feelings are coming. Anchor, you are too accurate. I came here because of its reputation. I saw it for the first time today, and I felt like I had experienced it. Anchor, is there anything you don't know? I want to share it with my friends. This is simply a fairy anchor. I actually found a host with real skills. For a time, many people shared Xiaoningsun's live broadcast room, and the number of online viewers actually reached 400,000. When the woman saw Hihimu, she felt as if she had seen a savior. Brother, I am your neighbor. You should still remember me. We talked several times while waiting for the elevator together. There were people following me all the time. But, I forgot my key again and I can't get in. Can you let me hide in your house first? Hihimu immediately looked at his phone in shock. The words longevity and longevity must be too accurate. Hearing the sound of footsteps, Hihimu quickly pulled the woman into his house without thinking about it. Xiaoningsun, you should be very busy, so I won't disturb you. If you have any questions later, just come to my live broadcast room. Hihimu, thank you, host. Xiaoningsun cut off the connection. Everyone, if you want to tell fortunes, hurry up. I only love my treasure, fortune telling. Xiaoningsun, you only love my treasure, please pay first. Wei Ai my Bao quickly refreshed a carnival, and then applied for a connection. Chiao Ning-sun connected the connection, and a woman appeared in the live broadcast room. Chiao Ning-sun, you only love my treasure, what do you want me to do? Wei ai my bao, hello, host, I want to calculate, when can I get rich? Wow, finally someone has become rich after such a long time. Yes, it was mostly about emotions before. I also want to count my fortune, but I just can't get a spot. My hand speed is very fast, but I don't have money to grab. I have been diving every day since the anchor started broadcasting. Since this person needs money so much, why doesn't he just ask what the next lottery numbers will be? Upstairs, this is similar to cheating. The host has said that it is impossible for her to do anything illegal. It may indeed be considered cheating. Chiao Ning-sun glanced at her face and calculated, you are very lucky in life. You should be a rich person now. You will be rich in this life, and you will be better than 100% in the world. 99 people are doing well. Wei ai my bao pointed the camera of his mobile phone at his own room. After recording a circle, he smiled bitterly and said, Anchor, do you think I look like a rich person? Rich people will live in a house that rents $4 a month, a house where the bathroom, kitchen, and bed are all in the same space. To tell you the truth, when I was a child, my family's conditions were indeed pretty good, but when I was 10 years old, my father's factory closed down and he also committed suicide. I followed my mother to rent a house and do odd jobs to make ends meet. We still owe hundreds of thousands to our creditors, and we still haven't paid it back yet. 2 years ago, my mother also died due to overwork, and I became an orphan, living alone now. 3 months ago, I also suffered from a serious illness and used up all the savings I had saved from working in the past few years. Now I only have a few hundred yuan in my hand, which is not enough for me to go to the hospital next time. The carnival that I rewarded you with was also rewarded by me cruelly. I just want to know if there is any hope for me to turn around in this life. My body does not allow me to go out to work now, which means that after using up those few hundred yuan, I will probably go hungry, and I will not even have money to pay rent, so I will sleep on the street. End of chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 220. If there is a chance to turn around, I will work hard to survive. If not, I will have no money in the future, so I will find a place with no one and kill myself. Living without hope is really too painful. I would rather go to my parents. Isn't that an exaggeration? Don't you have any relatives or friends? That's right, in your situation, no landlord with any sense of conscience would evict you. This is not certain. The landlord knows that she is sick and is afraid that she will die in his house. How can he still rent to her? It's better to drive her away. I am also a landlord as mentioned above. I do know how to evict people. I am not cold-blooded. If someone dies in my house will depreciate and become difficult to rent and sell. I spent a huge amount of money to buy the house. If it's ruined like this, I might jump off the building in a hurry. I agree with you upstairs. It's not that we landlords are cruel. I am still repaying the loan for my house, which is repaid with rent, and the rent is not enough to repay it. I have to put in a salary of 1,000 yuan myself again. I Moonlight Clan. If someone dies and I can't rent it out, I might run out of food. It turns out that the landlord is not having a good life either. The better off are the landlords who collect rent from several buildings. Generally, landlords also have a very hard life. Wei Beidao, who loves me, said, I really have no relatives or friends. Those relatives of mine are all snobbish. When my parents were alive, they saw that they could make money and were very attentive to me. But after my parents died, they ignore me. Even if I come to the door with gifts during the new year, they will treat me coldly. A child without a mother is pitiful. She is right. Some relatives treat children only for the sake of adults. Let alone the death of adults, even if adults are not around, some relatives will not take children seriously. Yes, some relatives will bully children without parents. Some middle-aged people, when they themselves are old, just can't stand young people and are jealous that young people are younger and more energetic than them. Wei Ai My Bao continued, so, you see how I can be a rich man. Qiaoning Sun found a piece of news on the internet and sent it to her, go and read the private message I sent. Wei Ai My Bao clicked on the private message with a confused look on his face and saw that it was a link. When he clicked on it, he found that it was news about a pair of parents looking for a child. The title is also very eye-catching. As long as clues are provided about the child, the parents are willing to provide a reward of 2 million. If the person is found based on the clues provided, the parents are willing to give a reward of 10 million. She quickly browsed through it and sent another message in the live broadcast room, I read your private message. It's news about a couple looking for a child. Qiaoning Sun, don't you have any ideas after reading it? Wei loves my treasure, what can I think? Their child cannot be me, and I am not their child. I have my own parents, but they are dead. But, do you think, I know where are the children of those parents who want me to provide clues to help them turn around? Qiaoning Sun, no, you are the child of those parents. Another child taken away? But this child has parents. Could Wei Ai My Bao have been exchanged with the biological child of her adoptive parents? I agree with you upstairs, that may be the reason. If it's true, only the treasure that loves me is both miserable and lucky. Her life has been a life of ups and downs. Only Bao, who loves me, stood up suddenly and said in disbelief, how could I be the child of those parents? I have my own parents. Qiaoning Sun, if you don't believe it, you can take a closer look at that man's face, see if you look alike. Wei Ai My Bao immediately looked at the man's photo again, and her eyes were startled. She and that man looked about 50% similar. I can see who Wei Ai My Bao looks like. Recently, I have been paying attention to the group of parents who are looking for children. Among them is a wealthy businessman who is also looking for his own child. She looks very similar to the wealthy businessman. Now that you mention it, I also feel that she is very similar to that wealthy businessman. That wealthy businessman is quite wealthy, his family has hundreds of millions in assets, and their reward is real. They will pay money to anyone who provides information about the child. Is it too late for me to contact them now? The anchors must have already contacted them. If you want to compete with the anchors to be the first, it's too late. Qiaoning Sun, I have indeed contacted them, and they have responded to me. I gave them the current address of Wei Ai My Bao, and they should have set off now. Wei Bao, who loves me, was shocked and said, do you know my address? Qiaoning Sun, yes, I figured it out. Your biological parents live in the same city as you, but you are in the suburbs and they are in the urban area. Wei Bao, who loves me, suddenly became nervous, what if I'm not their child? No, Qiaoning Sun said, your disease is a hereditary disease inherited from your biological father. As long as the children grow up, they will get it. Your biological father also has the disease. Wei Ai My Bao, how is that possible? What on earth is going on? Qiaoning Sun, while there is still time, let me tell you that your biological mother suddenly gave birth prematurely when she left home. She could only find a random hospital to give birth to the baby. Later, your nanny wanted to take revenge on your biological mother because of some grudges. Mom, so she exchanged her child with another child. You went to your adoptive parents' home, and the child in your adoptive parents' home went to your biological parents' home. Your biological parents, because the child looked less and less like themselves as the child grew older, so they conducted a personal identification with their adopted daughter and found that she was not their child, so they started investigating, and then they found out that their child had been exchanged. It's just that for some reason, your biological parents have not been able to find the contact information of your adoptive parents, so they have been looking for you. Sure enough, art comes from life. There are many plots like this on TV. Yes, true and false daughter, I like to watch this kind of TV series and novels the most. It seems that the only treasure that loves me is the real daughter. God is really joking. I was originally a real daughter, but now I am worried about rent and my own life. She was also lucky and met the anchor. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door at the Weibo live broadcast room. Weibo, who loves me, was stunned. Who is knocking on my door? Xiaoning Suan, of course they are your biological parents. Only loves my treasure, how could they arrive so soon? Xiaoning Suan, when I informed them, they happened to be near you. End of this chapter.